Have a 40-year-old brother who's been married multiple times. All his wives left him because he was physically abusive. Literally broke their arms and other domestic violence shit. Total garbage human being, basically. He keeps telling everyone in the family, if you know any girls around 25, set me up with them. I want to get married again. Is he fucking serious? Who the hell wants a washed-up abuser pushing middle age? This desperate loser has been searching so hard for a new victim that he's not even paying attention to who he's hitting on. He's been messaging me on Telegram since December. I had no idea it was him at first. His profile had no photos. I just ignore the messages completely. Then one day he sends a selfie. I was absolutely shocked when I recognized him. Blocked his ass immediately. What the actual fuck did he not recognize his own cousin? This creep is out here trying to hook up with young women who are family members. Hope everyone blocks him like I did. My family has known about his violent tendencies for years. Nobody wanted to confront him directly because he has anger issues. Our parents always made excuses for his behavior growing up. Boys will be boys and all that bullshit. By the time he was in high school, he was already showing red flags. Got suspended 4 times for fighting. First wife married him right after graduation. She was pregnant within 6 months. Started showing up to family events with suspicious bruises. Always had some excuse about being clumsy or accidents around the house. We all knew what was happening. Everyone was relieved when she finally left him 3 years later. Took the kid and moved across the country. He barely even tries to see his own child. Second wife lasted about 2 years. No kids, thankfully. She ended up in a hospital with a fall down the stairs that broke her arm. Police were called, but she wouldn't press charges. Family helped her escape while he was at work one day. Third wife was some poor girl he met online. Barely spoke English and clearly thought America would be better than her home country. Found out quickly how wrong she was. Divorce was finalized last year. Now he's hunting again and apparently not even checking if his targets are related to him. Found out he's been messaging other young cousins too. We've started a family group chat to warn everyone about him. Aunt Carol still defends him because family is family. Uncle Steve threatened to beat his ass if he comes to Thanksgiving this year. Mom says we should help him find a nice girl who might change him. As if some innocent 25-year-old should sacrifice her life fixing this 40-year-old waste of oxygen. Last week he showed up at my workplace. Said he wanted to clear the air about the messages. Claimed he didn't recognize me from my profile. Total bullshit since my username is literally my first and last name. Told him to fuck off before I call security. He switched from apologetic to aggressive in about 3 seconds. Started saying I was always stuck up and think I'm too good for family. Security actually did come over when his voice got louder. Embarrassed me in front of all my coworkers. Boss was cool about it, though. Said he's banned from the building now. Changed my number yesterday. Blocked him on every platform. Mom called crying because I'm tearing the family apart. Typical enabler behavior. Dad secretly texted that he's proud of me for standing up to him. Family dynamics are so fucked. Decided I needed to warn other women about my brother beyond just family. Created an anonymous account on social media. Started documenting his pattern of abuse with dates and details. No real names, just enough info that local women would recognize the warning signs. Called it Predator Alert, Small Town Edition. Posted about a local 40-year-old man with multiple ex-wives and a history of domestic violence. Described his typical approach, the love bombing, the isolation tactics. Shared screenshots of his creepy messages with personal info blurred. Account gained traction fast. Other women started messaging with similar stories. Turns out he's been hitting on basically every woman under 30 in a 50-mile radius. One girl sent me screenshots of him trying to get her 19-year-old sister to meet him alone. Told her he was 32 and established in his career. Another woman recognized his pattern and said he'd broken her friend's wrist last year. Friend was too scared to press charges. Local women's shelter reached out to collaborate. They've apparently helped 2 of his victims I didn't even know about. Page reached 2,000 followers within a week. Local news caught wind of it. They did a feature on online community warnings about domestic abusers. Didn't name names, but showed blurred screenshots everyone local would recognize. Brother went ballistic when he saw the report. Started texting everyone in the family accusing us of ruining his reputation. Said he was going to sue for defamation. Good luck with that when everything posted is factual. Mom called crying again. Said he showed up at her house at 2 a.m. completely drunk, screaming about family loyalty and betrayal. Dad finally had enough and called the cops on him. They took him in for public intoxication and disturbing the peace. Released 8 hours later with fine. He immediately started posting online about how he's being persecuted. Created his own counter-narrative about how his exes were the crazy ones. Classic Darvo. Deny, attack, reverse victim, and offender. Nobody's buying it except his equally toxic friends from the bar. His boss saw the news story, connected the dots pretty quickly, put him on administrative leave pending an investigation. Turns out 2 female co-workers had already filed HR complaints about him. Company has a zero-tolerance policy for domestic violence. He's now blaming me specifically for destroying his life, as if his own actions had nothing to do with it. Sent me a threatening message from a new account, forwarded it straight to the police. They took it seriously after seeing the pattern. Officer Martinez has been especially helpful. Said she's seen this escalation before and it's concerning. Helped me file for a restraining order. Court date set for next week. Meanwhile, the community page is still growing. Women from neighboring towns are creating their own versions. Network of warning systems spreading across the county. Local domestic violence resources are being shared widely. Shelters reporting increased calls from women seeking help. At least something good is coming from this nightmare. Dad called yesterday to say brother lost his job. HR investigation found evidence of workplace harassment, too. Now he's staying at Uncle Pete's hunting cabin. Uncle Pete is the only family member still fully on his side. Both heavy drinkers with outdated views on how to handle women. They're out there reinforcing each other's toxic attitudes. Yesterday, I received an unexpected message. Brother's first ex-wife reached out after seeing the page. She's been keeping tabs on him from afar to ensure her safety. Said she's proud of what we're doing to warn others. Their son is 21 now and wants nothing to do with his father. Offered to provide testimony if needed for any legal proceedings. Feels like the wall of silence is finally crumbling. Family secrets exposed to sunlight after festering for decades. It's painful but necessary. Long overdue accountability. 3 months have passed since I created the warning page. My brother completely lost his mind. Threats escalated into actual stalking. Police could no longer ignore the situation. He violated the restraining order twice in 1 week. First time he was lurking outside my workplace. Security called the police before he could approach me. Second time he tried to break into my apartment. Neighbor heard the noise and called 911. They arrested him on the spot. Bail was set at $50,000. Uncle Pete refused to pay this time. Even he finally understood the problem was serious. Brother spent 2 weeks in county jail before the preliminary hearing. During that time, 3 more women came forward with allegations of abuse. The prosecutor combined all cases into one pattern of behavior. They offered a plea deal in exchange for a lighter sentence. Brother refused, continuing to insist on his innocence. The trial lasted 5 days. I testified on the first day. His ex-wives on the second and third. Psychologists and domestic violence experts on the fourth. On the last day, the defense presented their arguments, but they were weak. The jury needed only 3 hours to reach a verdict. Guilty on all counts. Judge imposed a maximum sentence, 15 years, with the possibility of parole after 8. As they let him out of the courtroom, he turned and looked at me, not with rage as I expected, but with an empty, dead stare. For the first time, I didn't feel afraid of my brother, only pity for a man who never learned how to be human. Mom cried after sentencing, not from grief, but from relief. She admitted she'd lived for years in fear that he would kill someone. Dad stood silently, squeezing her hand. Told me later he was prouder of me than ever before. The next day, I shut down the warning page. Its mission was accomplished, but I created a new support group for victims of domestic violence. Called it Breaking the Cycle. Women from across the state join every day, sharing stories, resources, lawyer contacts. The local women's shelter offered me a coordinator position. Accepted without hesitation. Left my corporate career for something that truly matters. Less money, but the soul satisfaction is priceless. Yesterday, I received a letter from my nephew, my brother's son with his first wife. He wants to meet. Says he's been struggling with anger for years, afraid of becoming like his father. Started therapy and wants to reconnect with our side of the family. We arranged to meet next month. Family secrets no longer poison our lives. We finally talk about problems openly. Aunt Carol still defends my brother, but nobody listens to her anymore. Family holidays are more peaceful, without the constant tension. Sometimes the best way to preserve a family is to cut out the gangrene. One of my brother's ex-wives invited me for coffee. We talked for 4 hours. So much in common despite our different roles in his life. Now we meet monthly at the support group. I no longer feel shame about my brother. Not my fault he's like this. Not my responsibility to fix him. But it was my obligation to protect others. And I did that. Sometimes you have to choose between family loyalty and doing what's right. I chose what's right. And I would do it again and again if necessary. The story didn't end the way I would have wanted, but at least it ended with truth and possibly prevented new tragedies. In that I find peace